All right, guys. So what I want to do is I want to get on some pretty cool advanced stuff to share with you guys to really maximize your traffic. Now, I want to just, I'm kind of making an assumption whatever page you're sending to, actually works, and you know that it works. So I'm not going to focus any of our energy there. It just doesn't make sense. As you guys probably could tell, you can send that traffic to whatever page you want it to, especially, going through the techniques that I talked about. That pre-frame page is very, very important in a sense because it frames the next page. It can really help create what I would call click consistency. So if you're going to drive traffic, you drive traffic to your pre-frame page. Then next, after they go to the pre-frame page, they go to the next page. It creates this thing called click consistency, which allows people to do it. If you have like click to order on your next page, well, it kind of gets them in that habit and creates that habit for people to start clicking. So we're going to talk more about the pre-frame page here in a second. Now, before we get going, I just want to kind of give you a way that I look at things, and I always stare at things in the direction the traffic flows. And so the way I maximize anything is I always look at the way the traffic flows. And so just to kind of give you an idea, and I'm going to try to draw some nice pretty pictures for you, but just to give you guys a general idea, we're driving traffic. So we're driving traffic, and I taught you guys at this point how to set up your accounts, how to drive the traffic, and as my phone rings, but basically, just so you know, let me turn this off, and but you maximize the traffic one of the ways you can get traffic is focusing on the URLs, and so which is a really big thing, is we talked about getting the URLs. That's why the software made so much sense. That's why that was one big thing that you could really do, and it's how you can siphon traffic to your page from other places. So like if you're Coca-Cola, then you want to get it to in your Coca-Cola, and you want to borrow get Pepsi's traffic. I mean, whatever it is, you could do that, and by targeting URLs. Maybe of your competitors and stuff like that. So we've already talked about how to do that. So as we did that, we also talked about another thing, and we talked about that pre-frame page. And basically we had the pre-frame page. It was a page that basically had some call to action down to it that drove people to another page, whatever page you wanted to drive that traffic to, which let's just call that X. From there. So I want to just kind of come over here and maybe see if I can change the color of my ink. And I am assuming that just so you know, I'm assuming you already know, we're not going to focus here. If you should know that if your page works or not at this level. But where I want to focus our energy is at these two levels, because there's two things we can do to maximize our traffic, and one of them has to do with here, and the other one has to do with this one right here. Now, remember I said I like to go in the flow of the traffic. So if we're going in the flow of the traffic, we're going to start here first, and then what's going to happen is we're going to move here second. So this is the flow of the traffic that it's going, as it goes. So I always track. I always work in the flow of the traffic, because seriously, if we get nobody going to the page, what good is this? If we don't, we don't focus here first, then what good is this? If we don't focus here, if we focus here, if we don't focus here second, what good is this? So, because they'll never get here if we don't work in that flow. But we got to go in the flow of the traffic. Which way does the river flow? So we got to follow the river all the way down from that, so that we can do it by doing two different things. And I wonder if I can actually copy that area that I just did, because that would be kind of cool. Let's see here. Maybe I can't. Let's see. Yeah, maybe I can't. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, actually, I can. No, I can't. All right. So by doing two things. One, by tracking the keywords, because that was the first part that we talked about. If we don't have the right keywords, we're not going to get people to any visitors to our page. Nothing's going to happen, from there. So we've got to start tracking the keywords, which we already kind of talked about. Getting the keywords putting the keywords in, but one of the biggest things is we want to track the keywords, because we want to know which keyword is getting people to go, we're getting people to the page that we want them to get to. So here's how we track the keywords. Just so you guys know, when you log into your account, you'll see at the top it says conversion script, and this will allow you to start tracking your conversions. Now, what I would suggest when it comes to doing this is putting this on the page after the pre-frame page at this moment. All right, just because we've got to make sure we'll talk about this actually. I was just thinking out loud because actually I have something else I want to share with you. So actually, let me scratch what I just said and let me just take it to a whole nother level. Yeah. Actually, you do want to get it to the, I was just thinking out loud. So, yeah, you do want to put this here on the page that I'm talking about. So I would have, so if we went back, actually, let me just go backwards. Where I would suggest putting the tracking code is actually on page X, whatever page you wanted, whatever page the pre-frame page sends it to. So it's page X. That's where you want to put this tracking code that I'm talking about right here. So we know which keywords, which URLs, which we talked about using URLs as keywords, but which keywords are working. So this conversion tracking that you have right here, where it says, conversion script, you're going to click on this, and where we're going to put this, when you click on this, on the next page, it's going to take you to a page where you're going to get your script. And see, basically right here it says, by placing this tracking script, you'll see all your conversions. What we're looking at this moment, we're seeing which, and this is really important to understand, what we want to look at this moment is seeing exactly which keyword is actually, actually going, people are going to your page, the site you want to send it to. Now remember, we got the pre-frame page in the middle, so we want to track to see which one's going there. Now on page X, whatever page X that is, what you want to do, and now remember I said this advanced training, if you own that page, you want to put this script on that page. Now if you don't own that page, I will tell you there's a way I do it. And it's actually, I use a meta refresh redirect. Now, some of you guys, that might just went way past your head, and that's fine. But for those of you that advanced, what you want to do is, what I would do is basically for you guys, and don't let this discourage anybody, but just to share with you, one day you can Google what it is. But so we've got your pre-frame page, and then, so they click this link to go to, let's call it page X. Again, I'll just put this page X here. Now we're driving the traffic in to that page, and what I'm talking about is right in here. When somebody clicks that link, what we're going to do is we're actually going to put a, it's called a meta, M-E-T-A, redirect. That's if if you don't own this page right here. So if you're driving it to a, like an affiliate link or through something like that, you've got to somehow track it, and this is where you're going to put your tracking code here on this, and basically tracking code. Now remember, we said this is advanced, so it's one thing. It's not like it's one thing from it. So. But you put your tracking right there. Let me exit out of this real quick. I want to show you guys something. Google, if you guys don't know anything, you don't realize this yet, let me tell you something that's advanced. It's like simple, but it's not advanced, but it's like, it seems like it's advanced because nobody thinks about it, is the fact that when in doubt, Google it. So seriously, like, I just want to give you a thing, like, let me just tell you. I don't know what meta redirect is. Okay, meta redirect. Okay, I'm not trying to be sarcastic here. I am just saying that, like, a lot of times you can actually Google it right here. So basically, they're giving you a code that you can use to be able to do it. Tells you an example of what it is, how it works. Basically, what it does right here. So this is this basically refreshes and redirects the page in 5 seconds to this page. What I would recommend doing is actually have at least 1 second, 2 seconds, and creating a redirect, and then on that redirect page, just because you want to make sure that tracking code pops on there. Now let's just say you're like, oh Matt, I kind of get this. I don't know how to do a redirect. Okay, let me just teach you guys something that that some of the advanced marketers do. I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass, but literally this is what they do. So what we do is when we don't know something, we actually Google it, and if we still don't kind of get it, what you would want to do is like go to YouTube, and then literally on YouTube, you literally say how to create a redirect. And so, like, let me just tell you, this is like where I go and learn stuff. Web prank, how to create a redirect page, how to redirect your website, easily. There's probably one. What is this? And actually, you can see I actually fast forward everything real quick because I can actually listen real fast, but. But anyway, you can keep on going until you find something. This isn't the guy I want to do.
Got a brony hitting friend? Well, quicker one we all do. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a web page redirect. So you, the brony, can send the brony hater to another brony website like westvirginia.com. You don't necessarily need to be a brony or a brony hater to use.
Anyway, let me just turn that down. But
if you're a brony hater doing this
is probably not the best one. This is, I don't even know what the heck a brownie hater is. But so anyway, but you can go in here and how to create a redirect to your web hosting, but you can actually literally, they tell you how to do it.
Hey everyone, it's Glaze.
But actually, we want a meta redirect page. Create a meta redirect page. Yeah. And there's one right there. Just so you guys know. So, like,
to set up a meta redirect, it's very easy.
There you go.
What you have to do is open Notepad.
So, like, this will literally tell you, I mean, you can Google it and figure out how to do it, just so you guys know. So when in doubt, Google it. When in doubt, when in doubt from Google, YouTube it, which basically are both Google. Unless you've got, or just hire a webmaster. But, just to share with you, so where we want that is if you don't control this page, you do want to put a meta redirect page here, and then you're actually going to paste this tracking pixel on that page. Now, if you do control this page, we don't need the meta redirect. And what you want to do is place it on this page, because what that allows us to do is to see which keywords are converting. And we want to know which keywords are the ones that are actually converting. You're going to know inside your account, when you log in and look at your account, you're going to see, oh, all these keywords are getting creating visitors to this page here, but who cares about the ones that are getting to this page? We want to get the ones that are getting people to this page. So that's why we want to do it, and it will tell us exactly, it allows us to see exactly what keywords are converting within our campaigns, so we know the cost of the person to get to your page. So it allows us to do stuff like that. Now, so that's one thing. Now I'm going to talk about some more, but Dave, I know you're listening. Is there anything like we need to clear up, or is there anything like, did I go too advanced? Because I know sometimes my Achilles heel is that I don't break things down easy enough for people.
No, that seemed fine. But it definitely was advanced.
Yeah. So, for you, Dave, just so you know, this is something that you can actually literally give to your, you got webmaster, you can hire somebody like, hey, watch this video, I want you to do this, like, here's the code, wouldn't that be something that you did? I want to give people some examples of what they can do. If they're sitting here like, what the hell did he just say?
I did that earlier with my webmaster. I sent him some Java code.
Yeah, it's like, hey, put this on this page. It's like, what page you want it on, right? That's a big thing, is give them clear instructions to say, hey, you grab the code, you send it to them, you say, I want this on, this page, or you just grab the code and say, hey, I need you to create a redirect page. A meta refresh redirect page. And what you'd want to say to them is, hey, have it be 1 second, and one little trick I do is just like in the middle, just have it all blank, and you might want to just have the words, connecting, ... So then it just like makes it look like, hey, they're connecting to it. What you're doing is just popping the tracking code. So that's really what we want to know is who is getting to this page. So that allows us to do that from there. Because what we want to do is once we start pinpointing keywords that are doing something, we want to really hone in. All right, and so once what I'm saying is we've found these keywords are people that are going to my pre-frame page, and then they're clicking on the link. They're going to my next page. That's what we know at this moment. Well, once we discover which keywords or URLs really, but which keywords are actually creating something, we want to hone in. And this is when we kind of went fishing and we caught a fish, but so we're trying to go find the school is really what we're trying to do here. So so we want to start honing in. And let me just share with you how to hone in on targeted keywords that are working. So, So let me just kind of walk you through exactly some ways to do that. Now, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to, well, I was originally going to go to Google. Hold on. And let me just use the credit repair. Site. So this is Lexington Law, and I know we had that one in there. I remember we brought it up, so I'm actually going to say. So let's just say one of the keywords that as an example, one of the keywords that you used, which was Lexington Law, and you notice that because you got the tracking, the conversion tracking on there, you notice that Lexington Law is converting. So that means Lexington Law, you're getting traffic from Lexington Law. Now, what you want to do is you want to hone in on Lexington Law. You know that Lexington Law is working, and you might want to go look at that. Now, did you focus on was it just, and ask yourself this question because I don't know the answer for you and everybody's going to be different, so I'm going to give you some different scenarios here. So let's just say that your keyword was, like one word, LexingtonLaw.com, or one URL, LexingtonLaw.com. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to that page. So what we want to do is as soon as we've identified, basically it's like a keyword converted or a keyword went to the page. Basically it's like raising your hand and they say, hey, I'm here. The tracking code popped. It showed a conversion. They raised their hand and said, hey, come here, look at me. They basically just put a flashlight on themselves and said, come here and stare at me for a little bit. And so that's exactly what we need to do is go look at it. So how we do that is so let's say this URL was a keyword we used and it was working. What I do is I go to the page itself, and so I go to the page itself and I start looking around the page. Now, let me ask you this. I mean, Dave, and for you specifically. Now, if we're just driving traffic to this page, it could be anyone, maybe looking for education, looking for why this company, looking for their services. But what for your page, for your credit repair page, what action do you want people to take?
I want them to either send an email or make a phone call.
Okay.
So right now I have it set up mostly for them to make a phone call.
Right. So we want, basically what we want is people that are probably coming here to sign up, which we see right here. So we probably want these people, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like they're already signing up, they're interested, they're taking action right here. So guess what? What I do is I look for, I hone in, and if I was focusing on the main domain, like here, the main domain, and that was one of my keywords. Actually, let me go over here. So let's say one of my keywords that I was using was, LexingtonLaw.com. So I'll say, okay, well, Lexington Law raised its hand. It said, showed its flashlight on me because I've got conversions. Now, let me just go ahead and I'm going to wipe this one. I'm going to wipe it out. However, how I'm going to wipe it out is I'm going to actually really dive in and hone in on that page. Whoops. Actually, interesting. So on that page. And one of the things I could do is focus on LexingtonLaw.com/sign up. So I would much rather, instead of when you go to the main page, I'd want to actually focus on the people that are going to the sign up page. Because think about it, if somebody's going to the sign-up page, that's pretty much your target market anyway, right?
Yes.
Well, so I'm just telling you is, like, what I'm saying for everybody is to hone in, like, okay, this one raised its hand, so it identified that you're getting traffic, people are going to you, but now let's really break down our account and let's make our account even better, and let's just focus on better keywords. And so we can actually, instead of investing a lot of money on a general, this is like really general, because even though it's targeted, but it's general. So now what we're doing is we're honing in. So now that we've got this one, we said this is the one that we saw. Now what we can do is we can go in here, and I put a keyword. I put that around here. We could focus on this. And so what you want to do, a lot of times you can go around here, and so this is the sign up page, which is probably what they're trying to drive everybody to. Credit repair. I don't know if you want their client, because it's probably going to be hard for you to kind of convince somebody, but you could actually focus on login pages. I don't know if anybody just heard what I said, but I said something really cool. You could focus there. For you specifically, for yours would be kind of something like their sign-up page. Just really focus on honing on their sign-up page. Looky-loos are going to be reading this crap here. Looky-loos are going to be reading this crap here. We don't want tire kickers. Tire kickers are going to be reading about this crap here. But people that are taking action are who we want, and they're going to be going to the sign-up page based upon the site I'm looking at. Now, their clients, and if you are focusing on looking at getting buyers are going to be the ones going to the login page. You can focus there too, but hopefully you guys kind of got. Do you kind of see what I'm talking about here? Once the keyword raises its hand or it says shines a flashlight on it, you really start honing in on the really, really most important ones for the actions you want. So now what you're doing is you're cutting down your cost, but you're increasing the quality.
That's awesome.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so the way I say it is, why we want the conversion on there, let me just kind of repeat this. Just so you guys know, well, let me ask you this. So Dave, you've been around for a long time in the business. Just this alone, do you think the value in this alone, this is just really valuable information, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Well, you're looking at the fact that it's increasing the conversion rate with less clicks.
And better quality people.
Right.
The quality increases. The quality increases dramatically, actually, is really what we're doing. Give you another example, because I wanted to use an example for him, because I know we talked about his credit repair stuff, but let's just look at, I believe I went to ClickBank. So let's just say, I'll go to ClickBank here. We're going to go to featured products. Real quick, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to look at, let's say I'm in home and gardening. How to grow the perfect juicy grapes. Let's see here. See if there's anything I'm actually interested in. Okay. Oh, this is cool. Okay. So how to build a wind generator. So let's say I'm in the wind generator business, and I identify, and I had this as one of my keywords that I focused on. I focused on the sales letter. So what I would do is after it raised its hand, and that would, let's just say windplans.com was my keyword. So let's just say this was my keyword that I was using. Here, raised its hand. It said, hey, I'm actually, I want you to look at me is really what it's saying when you get a conversion. Look at me, look at me. And so you go, okay, I'm going to go look at you. So now you come over here and you scroll. Let's see. That was interesting. You scroll over here and say, well, I just don't want anybody that comes to this page. I want to get people that click here. And sometimes we could actually focus on the URL. This one won't work because it is ClickBank, but which was a bad example, but maybe somebody just got what I just said. But the big thing is you can actually focus on different pages, so you really hone in even better on things. So but you just kind of scroll around the page. So on the page and just let your kind of mind wander. If I wanted to attract affiliates, I would focus on things like this. I don't know if you guys kind of get what I'm showing you, and I don't want to go give too many people too many ideas because I don't want to be, having some issues with my stuff, but I do want to get your mind racing for what you can do. But what you want to do is let the light shine, and then once the light shines on a particular keyword, then you hone in, and that's what I'm talking about, honing in. Just to really hone in. Now, you could also, let me give you another example about honing in, which we talked about, is a couple different things that you could do, which we talked about in the course, which was looking at, going to one of the pages like Alexa.com, looking at it and just seeing, finding, sites that are similar. Sites, let's see, I think there was a site I was using, I think it's called SimilarSites.com. Yeah, SimilarSites.com. So, perfect. So this is exactly what you could go to, is SimilarSites.com. So let me go over here and let's just use that person's thing. So once we find and they raise their hand, so one thing you could do to really hone in is what I just told you. Another thing you could do is you come in here to SimilarSites.com, click on the word discover, and then what it's going to do is going to pop up similar sites. And now you can possibly use these sites if you don't already have them in there. So you just, you want similar sites, similar search, we don't want those, but similar sites is really where we want to focus on, from that. So that's another thing. It kind of works just like everything else I showed you earlier. Really cool. All right. So yeah. So you can use, you could use it to kind of get stuff like this. Of course, I want somebody that's clicking on Get Started here, if this was one of my keywords. But, bang, you can start nailing these things out. So hopefully you guys kind of get what I'm telling you about that, because you really want to start honing in. You can hone in once they raise their hands and pop from there. So before we move forward, Dave, do you have anything that you'd like to share, or anything that you like to reiterate, or something you might have a question on?
No, all that looked great.
All right. So the next thing is you want to have a converting pre-frame page. Now, I want you guys to think about this. If we get 10,000 people coming to our page, and and no one takes action, you really get zero people. You will get zero people to convert. You'll get nobody to the next page. That means you're not going to make any money or whatever action you want them to take. So you just, nothing will happen. You just get a big goose egg. So what good did anything you do? And so you want to get a good, great converting converting pre-frame page. And one of the things you want to do is you want to split test the pre-frame page. And here's exactly what split testing means. Split testing is like A/B split testing. Split testing basically compares the effectiveness of two different versions of a web page, marketing, email, or the like, in order to discover which one has better response rates and better conversion rates. Now, I know you're a direct mail. You really have more of a direct mail background, Dave, and you do, postcard, average, stuff like that. You do split testing with direct mail, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to kind of share the power of split testing from what you've discovered from a direct mail side?
From direct mail, we send out different covers on catalogs. We send out different wording, different colors, different fonts, and you'll find that a lot of times that whatever you thought was the greatest wonderful thing that you ever wrote, nobody else thought that. They thought the stupid thing that you wrote that was misspelled was the great thing. In fact, there's misspellings on stuff that I do on purpose. And people will pick it up and call me, and then they'll buy something. So, you never really know what the best thing is. And even if you've got something that's been working great for years, and it used to be number one. Well, you need to test it now because maybe it's not number one anymore. Maybe it's number 70. And people are tired of looking at that thing that was wonderful 6 years ago, but it's not wonderful anymore. So it's great to split test every possible thing that you can.
Oh, yeah. And so, and that's one big thing is, split testing is a big key, and it's one of those things. And I want to kind of share with you what I use to test. I use Google Analytics, and inside Google Analytics, they have content experiments. And it allows you to test and improve your website, basically to eliminate the guesswork, to make sure your design is better than the others, and which one's actually converting. And so, and that's a big thing. Is I want to make sure, I want to actually have not only, I want to see which page. What good is to me, what good is a page that's converting at, well, that's not converting at all, right? So how do we increase it? We can increase it by split testing, or what, imagine this. Imagine you have a page that's doing, 30%, you have another page doing 10%, it really is, changes the dynamics and changes everything. And I'm an avid split tester. Actually, I will tell you, I've been in arguments and with some big names out there. A lot of people say they test. I learned one thing: what comes out of people's pie hole does not come out of their wallets. But also, I learned what comes out of people's pie hole isn't always what they do. And so I've had a lot of arguments with people just because they think they test and they don't, and or they say they do and they just did one little thing and whatever. They're just, a lot of people I think are just idiots and they're lying to themselves thinking they're testing. And so I just want to share with you guys my belief system when it does come to split testing, and I believe I'm right. Actually, Dave and I actually originally met through Kennedy Glazer, and I used to be in their highest level thing, and I know, Dan and me and Bill and a couple other people that actually in internet marketing, we got in a huge fight over this whole concept and idea. However, Dan came to my side and basically told everybody else that was arguing with us that, Matt's actually right. So I don't know. I'm not saying that his word, if you don't know who he is or whatever, but saying he's the word of God, or I'm saying it's the word of God. But I'll just tell you that what I am telling you guys is that, I do this. I don't just talk about doing anything, doing testing and everything else. I split test 5 radically different subject lines every day. Actually 10, really. I'm a big avid tester. And so I've got more data than most people even know what to do with. The great thing about the internet is we can test fast, and we can make decisions faster, a lot faster than direct mail, that's for sure. And it costs us a lot less. But what it allows us to do is, like we said, test maybe an A/B. Sometimes we call it ABC split testing. From there, and what I always do is I split test radicals first. And so what I mean by radicals, and some people are like, what the heck is Matt talking about? When I talk about radicals, I'm talking about radically different angles, radically different looks, radically different feels. And I kind of just literally just created some real quick just to give you an example. I don't want anybody seeing mine because I don't need to compete with you, because I will, if I do see you compete with me, I will go in to crush you. But I'm not going to let you see what I'm doing. So just so you know, so I went and found some. I was actually working with a student. I'll use this as an example because they're in some network marketing company, and I use this as an example. So on a coaching call. So I wanted to share with you kind of an example of a radical split test. And so this is, to me, these are some examples of radicals, just so you know. They're radically different look and feel. Sometimes they're radically different angles. Maybe they're radically different. It could be a radically different, just so radical that you sometimes you don't even know what's going to be on the other side is the same thing. That's what I'm talking about. Where you're like, wow, so it's a radical thing. And so I just want to give you an example. This right here could be an example of a radical. So it's natural sustained energy without the crash. Check out this the energizing effects of this this drink has on your mind and body. Request free samples here. And so that's an example of that's an example of one. And this would be like the ugly page or whatever. And typically when I do radicals, I'll just tell you, when I do radicals, I usually always start off with ugly versus pretty. And sometimes I actually don't need to even do that, because I will tell you a lot of times, which is actually, I believe Dave even alluded to, sometimes the ugliest or the things that you just think, man, this is going to suck, it actually works. So you never, the one thing is, this is where, logic or gut and intuition sometimes doesn't always play out the way you think it's going to be. And the only way we're going to know is numbers, and the numbers don't lie. And so if we are doing split testing, you want to look at the numbers. I like to use Google Analytics, and there's a reason for that, is because I don't just use that philosophy of, after 1,000 visitors, I've got enough data, which is actually bullshit, because that's not really true. Statistically, that's not right. Especially depending on the variations you have and everything else. So I like Google to say, hey, look, this has a statistical advantage to be 99.9% right, until Google actually does call it, and that's why I do use Google Analytics for my split testing. So just to share with you, on that. So, but this is an example of what I would call one of my ugly tests, ugly page if I was testing this one, and here's an example of a pretty page. So basically, it's really going to the same thing: request free samples today, request free samples today, radically different look and feels. So when I talk about split testing radicals, I'm talking about split testing something so radically different look and feel that radicals give me radically different results. And I know I'm flipping it back and forth because I just want to really get it in your mind that that's what I'm talking about: radically different look and feel. Radically different look and feel, maybe it could be graphics and this and that and that. I mean, and what's going to be funny is, a lot of times I found that, the prettiest ones always lose. Now, you can't hold that true until it's tested. But, so I just want to give you some examples of what happens when you test radicals. When you test radicals, you get radically different results. You might have a page and, might convert at 19%, and you have another one converting at 41%, another one maybe converting at 3%. If I did an A-B-C split test where it's A, B, and C. And so, this is actually kind of snapshot in a sense of Google Analytics, but just as an example of split testing radicals. So radicals give you radically different results. I mean, that's a 20% difference. Like if you're looking at the 19 and the 41, that's the one I really want you to look at, version 1 and version 2, from there. Now, the reason I bring that up is because once I split test radicals, and let me give you an example again, split test radicals, what I do is then I move to a whole different area, and a whole different area, which I'll get into here in a sec. But I wanted to kind of pull up my favorite gun for a second. And I probably should have said this earlier, but I just want to prove a point here. This is actually one of my favorite guns. I actually own a bunch of land, and I have fun out my land, and this is one of my favorite guns. This is the one that I will tell you I leave behind when I'm gone, and I have it for my wife, and she actually has some really killer bullets for it that I told her. I just kind of leave this gun behind whenever I'm gone. So just wanted to be clear, don't come to my house. But the fact is, I do love this gun. And the reason I do like it is because it's kind of like, to me, it reminds me of internet marketing. And it's like we all have the same gun, and this is, but we all choose to do different bullets. Now, what's unique about this gun, you can see right here, if you look at this, if you look down below, you have the bullets, and you have the bullets and the shells. This gun allows you to put, this is a judge, it allows you to put those 45s in there, or you can put the 410 shotgun shells in there. And I don't know if you know anything about how things work when you are shooting, shooting a target. But if I was shooting a target with this gun, and let's just say I was shooting, like this is one target here, and then I came over here, I'm going to draw another target right here. They're not going to be exactly the same, but let's say I decided I was going to put in this gun this 410 shell. And so I decided to put this in the gun and start shooting this target with that 410 shell. And what would happen is, basically, I would just get, it's a shotgun, so it's going to make a spray. It's going to spray this, spray pellets all over the place as I'm shooting if I was far enough back. But it would shoot, spray these pellets all over the place. Now, I just want to be clear because, and notice I've just put one in the middle. Maybe I got two in the middle, but I got all these, things over here. The reason why most internet marketers fail, and the reason why you fail when you buy like this done-for-you crap that people don't test or whatever, or people say they tested but they never really tested, is because what they do is they actually we all have the same gun. They just people literally put the shotgun shell in that gun and they just shoot. And when they shoot and all these pellets go all over the place. Kind of like internet marketing. They're like, hey, man, I tested and I hit the hard target. Well, look, there was like 1,000 BBs and 2 of them hit it, and they don't know which BB actually did it. So it's kind of like they just shot this crap. I mean, they just went and they just threw it out there and figure out what see if the shit whatever shit hit the wall that worked. They're like, I don't it kind of worked, so they just feel it whatever. They just like throw crap out and said, oh well, 2 BBs hit the middle, so therefore it worked. And I don't like doing that. We all have the same gun. We all can play it. I like to use, when I play and when I shoot my gun, when it comes to internet marketing, I like to use this bullet. And the reason being is because, I like to go, and what I do is I kind of hone in. So I might shoot and miss, and then I go, okay, well, I'm going to adjust a little bit. And then I might shoot and miss. Then I might shoot and miss. And, I'm like, but I'm just keep on adjusting. So now I've got it centered. Now I'm going to move up. And I keep on adjusting. And I keep on adjusting. And I keep on adjusting until, bam, I've got it. And then I'm just going to keep on shooting the hell out of the middle and keep on shooting the hell out of the middle and keep on shooting the hell out of the middle and keep on shooting the hell out of the middle and keep on shooting the hell out of the middle. And I'm not going to move until I'm out of bullets. And what the problem is because I know what worked, because I'm using this bullet. Now, all internet marketers have the same thing, but most of them are just using shotgun shells and just shooting shit all over the place is really what they're doing. And so, you got to be careful about who you listen to. The one thing about Dave and I is the fact that Dave and I, we've been around. I mean, Dave even said, the one thing, you hear a guy saying that you'd split test magazine covers, you split test this, you split test that. Well, I guarantee you, knowing if you knew everything about him, you would realize that the man's been through, done a lot of things, and he's done a lot of testing, he's done a lot of direct mail, and and what we do is we just don't throw, we shoot with 45 shells. We shoot with the bullets, and once we try to test and we track to see which one works, and then so that we can keep on hitting the middle. Now, once something works, we keep on doing it. And the big problem is that most internet marketers, they found this little 2 pellets worked, and they don't know which hell pellets were, but they tell everybody that, well, damn, it worked, but they don't know which pellets worked. And that's the one thing that we're teaching you is, this works, but you've got to, keep on honing in until you do it. So does that make sense? I mean, did I give it an all right example for people to kind of get what I'm really trying to get in their minds?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, so be careful about listening to people that they don't know, things like that, and you got to hone in and really hone in doing it, because we're all internet marketers have the same gun, but not everybody uses the same bullets, and there's only like the 1%ers, and even that, there's only a fraction of 1% actually use the 410 shells. Most of them are 99.9% of the guys are using the damn shotgun shells, just throwing shit all over the place and trying to say, oh, wow, it worked, whatever, and they don't really know, from there. So, because once I do a radical and radically different look and feel, then what I do is I split test slight variations. Now, let me just be clear here. This is what every internet marketer will tell you to do first. I do it last. So I split test radicals first, and then I come back in and split test slight variations. And slight variations are the things that like a lot of the guys tell you, oh yeah, when you do a split test, you want to split test the headline. Well, whoop-de-doo. I'll just tell you, just by split testing a headline, it's not going to give you a radically enough, it's not going to radically change it enough in order to do it. And I think the example that he just gave you, which is a brilliant one, is the cover of a freaking magazine or a catalog. That alone is you split test that. God, that's a radical different split test. Slight variations is once you discover, let's say we went out, and I'm just giving an example, but you went out and you did the radical different test, and then you find, okay, let's just use the example we were talking about earlier, is the catalog cover. You say, this catalog cover works. Well, now you can actually hone in on that catalog cover by testing slight variations. Now you can have different variations of it. Let me give you some examples. Same thing with your pages and your pre-frame pages, and actually, you can use all this data for your sales letter too, just But it's really, to me, slight variations, split testing slight variations, what most people will tell you is split testing, which to me it's really optimization. It's really what you're doing is you're optimizing it once you do find the winner from there. Because when you optimize or when you split test slight variations, you get slight different variations in results. And so let me just give you some things to test. When it comes to testing slight variations, you can test the headline, you can test the color, you can test maybe the fonts, the font size, maybe the call to actions, maybe the problem. When we're talking about the pre-frame page, we talked about identifying the problem. These are some things that you can do to test, some slight variations. Once you discover which one won, you can split test some slight variations of that. So maybe you just change the headline, one headline versus another headline, and then you test one color versus another color. You might test one font versus another font. Slight variations give you slight variation in results. Let me give you some examples of what happens when you split test split test slight variations. You get slight variations in test. Now, the original one, actually going back to the first one, remember I had a 19% conversion and then a 19% conversion, and then I had a 41% conversion. Once you find a winner, then you take that winner and then you start doing slight variations to the winner. So that's what happened here. I took a page, the original page, which is the winner of the radical test. I say, okay, I'm going to take that one, which is still roughly around 41%, and now I'm going to make some slight variations. Interesting enough, the slight variations did change a lot more radically than I thought it would, but this is kind of a good example. Just making a slight variation once I did have that. Now, if I would have started off with the 19% conversion one, the numbers would never be like this. And so I split test radicals first, and then I come in and split test slight variations. And slight variations usually will give you sometimes a slight variation in results. Sometimes actually it'll be shocking, just kind of like it was here on that. So just want to give you guys some ideas and kind of review some of the things that we've talked about that I think it's really good and more advanced and to doing things, and just kind of recap on things. You want to let me just say this: you want to follow the direction in which the traffic flows. And then I always test or follow the same way they do, because why in the world would I look? If you look on here, there's this X page, right? Why would this even matter at this moment if I can't even get anybody this page? So you got to focus all the way through. So I follow the flow of the traffic. So if the traffic comes here, first, that's what I want to follow the flow, and then I follow the flow. So I just keep on following the flow. If I had more things through there, then I keep on following the flow. So as we go. And so I just go with the flow of the traffic. Now, that's one thing to take in consideration. You can do two things, actually three. You can split test the X. But tracking keywords, how you do it, basically you go inside your account, you find this area right here where it says conversion script. You click on that. You take that conversion script. You put that conversion script right here where it says, in this area where it says before the closing body. You take that, put it in the closing body if you control the page that you're actually driving the traffic to. If you do not control the page, then what you want to do is actually create a meta refresh page and have it, and I would actually have it probably pop after, I like to put a connecting or something like that and have it pop after there. Google it. Remember, one of the keys I gave you guys is, if you don't know what it is, Google it. If you don't know, from there, if Google doesn't give you the answer, then go YouTube it. I guarantee by the time you get through those two things, you're going to find out how to do it if you want to do it by yourself. If not, the fastest way to do anything is hire somebody, from there. So once you pinpoint the keywords that are doing something you want to hone in, and I showed you how to hone in and target on those keywords that are working. The other thing is you want to make sure you get that pre-frame page converting. If you get all these people to the page and nobody converts, then you basically got a big goose egg and you're not going to make any money. And one of the things you could actually hire out, people to make that happen. But I found for me, I split test myself. Good split testers are going to be really expensive. And to be honest, it would be really, really expensive. I've hired somebody, a lot of times good split testers will want a percentage of it, and maybe a down payment. And I'm not talking like, down payment of $30 here. I was talking to somebody the other day because I was like, man, I don't have time to deal with it anymore. He's like, well, I'll tell you what, it's $30,000 down, then it's I forget what it was, revenue he wanted. And, I'm like, man, dude, like, for what I'm going to pay you, whatever he wanted, it wasn't worth it. But the great ones are, worth money. So here's what split testing means, just so you guys know. It's A/B split testing, or it just shows the difference between two different pages, which we talked about. I use Google Analytics to test. I always start with radicals first, and I gave you some examples of radicals. There's one example. Here's another. And what happens when you test radicals, you see radically different, results. Look at this. I mean, pretty much one here, really, really big radical. And don't be like everyone else that just throws shit at a wall. You want to be somebody that just really hones in and makes this thing happen. And, from it. You're with two good guys that know how to play the game right. All right? And so, and the other thing is, don't come to my house or you'll see that gun. All right, so just having fun with you. But the fact is, split test slight variations, the next thing you want to do. Really, split testing variations, the way most people tell you to test is, to me, it's really optimization. And then things you can test the headline, you can test the colors, you can test the font and the styles, you can test the call to action, you can split test maybe the problem that you state on the page. So those are things you can do in order to make that happen. And so when you split test variations, you get slight variations. You get kind of slight variations in results from there. So anyway, is there any last closing comments that you have, Dave?
No, that covered it pretty good.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and for those of you that actually are advanced, I think you know it all. Hopefully, maybe I schooled you one way or another. If I didn't, then well, maybe I don't know. But the fact is, what I really want to do is just hopefully I got your mind racing. That's really what I want to do with the possibilities of what you can do. But not only that, folks, just that alone, for those of you that do understand and do value information, that some of the things I just showed you could be night and day for a lot of things. And also not only that, but could I have probably some people like, holy crap, that was just worth every red penny. And from there. So anyway, thank you guys very much, and I hope you enjoy it. And Dave, I hope you got a lot out of that.
Thank you very much.
All right.